Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥 Sharma.
Good evening, aspirants. Welcome to the Hindu news analysis discussion brought to you by ForumIAS for the date 8th of August 2023. These are the list of news articles for today's discussion. We'll be covering 5 topics from polity, governance, science and technology, and a topic from international relations. Alongside this, we will also be covering 2 previous year prelims questions at the end of the discussion. So with this straight away, let us move to our first article of the day. First article, Centre seeks more time to frame CAA rules. The news is that the Union Home Ministry has sought another extension to frame the rules of Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019. So from this article, let us know about the CAA comprehensively from exam point of view. See, citizenship refers to the full and equal membership of any political community. With citizenship, citizens of a nation enjoy particular civil and political rights in a sovereign state. If we take the Citizenship Act of 2019 that we are talking about, it has eased certain norms for religious minorities from the neighboring nations of India to get Indian citizenship. Know that this easing of norms to get citizenship is done by amending the age-old Citizenship Act of 1955. Now let us see some of the key features of the CAA 2019. Firstly, it says Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis and Christians from 3 neighboring countries such as Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan will not be treated as illegal immigrants. That is, if people from 6 religious communities from the 3 of these countries enter India, even without valid documents, they will not be treated as illegal migrants. In short, know that it includes a separate column in the citizenship form for applicants belonging to these 6 communities from these 3 countries. Also, these people, that is those who belong to the persecuted minorities, they will not be deported as illegal immigrants under the Passport Act of 1920 and the Foreigners Act of 1946. Apart from these provisions, the amendment reduces the period of residency from 12 years. That is, 12 years was mentioned in the Citizenship Act of 1955, but now according to the CAA, it is reduced to 7 years in order to acquire permanent citizenship through naturalization process. Finally, know that it also empowers the government to withdraw registration as overseas citizen of India if any violation of Citizenship Act or any other laws is found to take place. So these are certain key provisions with respect to CAA 2019. Now let us know why was there a need for the amendment. Firstly, many persons of Indian origin, including persons belonging to the minority communities, were unsuccessful in applying for citizenship, that is under the Citizenship Act of 1955, because these people were unable to produce proof of their Indian origin. So these refugees have been facing difficulties in getting long-term visa or citizenship. Secondly, it is needed to provide relief to the victims of partition who got stuck in the East Pakistan for many years. Know that the religious minorities in Bangladesh are being persecuted by non-state actors like Islamic extremists for a long time. So many people from Bangladesh have crossed borders and settled down in Indian border states illegally, and they also remain stateless for years now. Thus, the amendment would prove to be a huge relief for those people. Thirdly, the constitutions of Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh provides for a specific state religion. As a result, many persons belonging to Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, even those belonging to Christian communities have faced persecution on grounds of religion in those countries. The amendment will safeguard their interest. That is one of the need of this amendment. Now, if you take the concerns relating to the Amendment Act, first is with respect to violation of right to equality. This act, that is the CAA Act, is criticized for violating the right to equality under Article 14 as it seeks to grant citizenship to illegal migrants on the basis of religion. For example, this act does not provide any citizenship norms for Rohingya Muslims or Ahmadiyya Muslims or certain other persecuted minorities who belong to Muslim communities. Second point is that it is against the basic structure of constitution. Critics argued that the act undermines secularism and it is thus against the basic structure of the constitution. For mains answers, know that you can quote, secularism is basic structure which was reiterated by the Supreme Court in S.R. Bommai case. Then the third concern is with respect to violation of Assam Accord. Section 6A of Citizenship Act relates to the provision for citizenship of people covered by the Assam Accord. But CAA Act would undermine the rights of indigenous Assamese people and it would be in violation of Clause 6 of Assam Accord because Clause 6 ensures constitutional, legal and administrative safeguards to protect the linguistic identity and culture of the Assamese people. Then fourth concern is with respect to conflict with the NRC. CAA is in direct conflict with National Citizens Register in Assam where the cutoff date is 1971. Assamese are fearful of the fact that most Hindu migrants from Bangladesh are Bengali speaking and this CAA provision is with a new cutoff date. And moreover, they feel Assam's culture and language will be threatened by Bengali speaking population which will increase by large numbers. Then the next concern is the vague procedure. The amendment allows cancellation of OCI, that is the Overseas Citizenship of India registration, for violation of any law. But the offence covered under this have not been mentioned. Hence, OCI can be cancelled for petty offences also. Then the next concern is that CAA fails on the tenets of international refugee law. Although India is not a signatory to the 1951 UN Refugee Convention that grants refugee based on humanitarian considerations, it is arguably a norm of customary international law. But the CAA considers only persecuted minorities as migrants. So it is said to be a failure on the tenets of international refugee law. Then seventh concern is over the insurgency. The northeastern states have vehemently opposed the amendment over certain concerns. These states feel that citizenship to illegal migrants would pose a threat to their cultural and linguistic identity and it would put a strain on resources and economic opportunities. Hence, there have been already widespread protests in northeastern states which further could arise and lead to insurgency. As a conclusion, we can say India has a civilizational duty to protect those who are persecuted in its neighborhood. But the method must be in accordance with the spirit of constitution. So that is all about the article. So from this section, we saw about CAA, the needs of this amendment, as well as the concerns with respect to Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019. So with this, let us close this topic and move to the next topic. Second topic, how to tell if a material is a superconductor. The recent news is that Korean researchers have claimed to have developed a superconductor that can operate at room temperature and ambient pressure. First, let us know what is a superconductor. See, a superconductor is a material that achieves superconductivity, which is a state of matter that has no electrical resistance and it does not allow magnetic fields to penetrate. This means an electric current in a superconductor can persist indefinitely without any resistance. See, superconductors have important applicability in our daily lives. In the year 1933, Walter Meissner and Robert Oxenfeld discovered that superconductors are also perfect diamagnets. That is, they repel magnetic fields known as Meissner effect. Thereby, these superconductors make them ideal for magnetic resonance imaging. However, superconductivity can only typically be achieved at very cold temperatures. So, researchers were trying to find and develop superconductors that could operate at room temperature. Now let us see about the recent discovery of researchers. See, the researchers have claimed to have developed a superconductor called 𝐂𝐴99. They say 𝐂𝐴99 superconductor works at room temperature and ambient pressure. See, 𝐂𝐴99 is a mixture of powdered components of lead, oxygen, sulfur and phosphorus. If these results can be replicated in other labs, then it could become a monumental discovery. However, other researchers are skeptical about this superconductor, as this research on 𝐂𝐴99 is not peer reviewed and the results need to be replicated by others. Now let us see how can computing be benefited from this research. See, computers process information with bits, that is ones and zeros, but 2 bits can only represent one of 4 possible states at one time. We should know superconductors are building blocks of quantum computers that use quantum bits or qubits to process ones and zeros at the same time. It's like running 4 computers in one. The physical qubits are typically supercooled to avoid errors. This research could get them to work at room temperatures and ambient pressure without the need for elaborate cooling systems. Now let us see how will the room temperature superconductors help in other areas. See, the temperature of a superconductor known as critical temperature is typically below 10 Kelvin, whereas the room temperature is around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius. If we take the critical temperature of superconductor in Celsius, it will be below minus 263 degrees Celsius, whereas the room temperature is around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius. Hence, by this new invention, superconductors at room temperature can cut the cost of electricity grids, computer chips, magnets for magnetic levitation trains, energy storage devices, and fusion reactors by saving electricity and money spent on coolants. So these are the benefits that could arise because of the use of room temperature superconductors. So that is all about the article. So from exam point of view, we saw about superconductors as well as about the room temperature superconductors. So with this, let us close this topic here. Third topic, India's mining policy shift. Recently, the Parliament passed the Mines and Minerals Amendment Bill 2023. The aim of this bill is to attract private sector investment in the exploration of critical and deep-seated minerals in the country. So for that purpose, the bill puts 6 minerals including lithium into the list of critical and strategic minerals. Previously, these 6 minerals were under the atomic minerals category, where mining of it were restricted only to the government-owned entities. Now, the bill has relaxed this provision to bring in the participation of private sector. Why did government make such a move? Also, let us know a few data with respect to the India's critical minerals availability and usage to understand that. See, firstly, critical minerals are crucial to countries' manufacturing, infrastructure and advancements. Secondly, India is seeking to meet its net zero emission goals by 2070. So for that, clean energy transitions, critical minerals are very much needed, and know that these minerals are also crucial for the manufacture of semiconductors used in smart electronics, defense and aerospace equipments, telecommunication technologies and so on. Thirdly, non-availability of these critical minerals in India leads to import dependency and also makes India to exposed to supply chain vulnerabilities and even causing disruption to the supplies. In June this year, the Ministry of Mines came out with a list of 30 minerals that are critical to our country's economic development and national security. In that, it was found that India is highly dependent on imports for majority of minerals on this list. For instance, India is 100% import dependent on countries including China, US for the supply of minerals like lithium, cobalt, nickel, etc. Even in case of deep-seated minerals like gold, silver, copper, India is net importer only. For instance, in the year 2022 to 23, India imported close to 12 lakh tons of copper, which is worth rupees 27,000 crores. So taking these issues into account, government had made such a move by amending Mines and Minerals Act of 2023. Now let us see why is the role of private sector vital for critical minerals exploration. Firstly, know that India has resource availability. According to the Center for Social and Economic Progress note, India has unique geological and tectonic settings which is conducive to hosting potential mineral resources. So we have all these resources somewhere unexplored and unmined. Secondly, it is estimated that India has explored just 10% of its obvious geological potential, out of which only less than 2% of resources have been mined. Adding to this, our country spends less than 1% of global mineral exploration budget. In last 2 decades also, we have not made any significant mineral discoveries. If at all we have discovered and mined, these activities were carried out only by the government agencies and that is public sector undertakings, whereas the private sector's participation has been very much low. This was the case because India's mining policy had kept greenfield exploration of minerals out of the purview of private sector explorers, which means privates could not get they could get license to prospects and mine resources which had been already explored by government entity. So for any new exploration or mining, private sector will not be given licenses. Adding to that, we must know that Indian PSUs were in relatively better position to explore bulk minerals like coal and iron ore. But in case of deep-seated and critical minerals, public sector undertakings had not fared well because of the high expenditure and long duration of the risky projects. Now let us know, how does the Mines and Minerals Bill of 2023 aim to encourage private participation? Firstly, the bill omits at least 6 previously mentioned atomic minerals from the list of atomic minerals. These minerals, when they were under the list of atomic minerals, they could not be commercially mined. And these 6 minerals are lithium, beryllium, niobium, titanium, tantalum and zirconium. See, being on the atomic minerals list, the exploration and mining of these 6 minerals were previously reserved only for government entities. Secondly, the Act prohibits pitting, trenching, drilling and subsurface excavation. But now, the bill allows these prohibited activities. Thirdly, the bill also proposes a new type of license to encourage reconnaissance level and prospective stage exploration by the private sector. This exploration license will be valid for a period of 5 years and it will be granted by the state government by way of competitive bidding. In these auctions, eligible explorers would bid on their desired percentage share of the auction premium. This premium amount of explorers will be paid eventually by a mining leaseholder during the sale of successfully explored mine by the state government. Fourthly, the bill also specifies the maximum area for exploration. That is, activities up to 1000 square kilometers will be allowed under a single exploration license. It also states after the first 3 years, the licensee will be allowed to retain up to 25% of the originally authorized area after submitting the report to state government. The submitted report should state reasons for the retention of area. Know that while most auctions are reserved for state governments in the Act, the bill also reserves the conduct of auctions for composite minerals and mining lease for specified critical and strategic minerals for the central government. But the issue in the bill is that we have to know big capital investments go into discovering natural resources through exploration and mining contracts only when companies are assured of its utilization. In the new policy, only the government can auction what an explorer had discovered, and the explorer would only get a share of the premium at an unknown stage. This is unlike other global jurisdiction where private explorers can themselves sell their discoveries to miners. So this aspect shall be taken into consideration in order to make the mining policy more private sector friendly. So that is all about the article. So from this article we saw about the amendment bill, the provisions which were listed under the amendment bill, as well as the needs and the required role of private sector. So with this, let us close this topic and move to the next topic. Now coming to the fourth topic, idea of basic structure has debatable basis, says Gogai. Recently, former Chief Justice of India Ranjan Gogai said that basic structure of the constitution has a debatable jurisprudential basis. In other words, we can say the former CJI is questioning the legitimacy of basic structure doctrine. So from this context, let us know about basic structure doctrine. See, the 50 years of basic structure doctrine marks a significant milestone in India's constitutional history. Know that the doctrine was established in 1973 through the landmark 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐻𝐻 Bharati case. From that time till now, this doctrine has helped preserve the core principles of Indian constitution. Over the past 5 decades, the basic structure doctrine has played a crucial role in maintaining balance of power between different branches of government and even in safeguarding citizens' fundamental rights. However, over the years, this doctrine has faced various challenges and debates, such as the extent of judicial intervention and definition of its components. Now let us see the significance of basic structure doctrine. Then let us go and have a discussion on concerns. If we take the significance of basic structure doctrine, first is that it protects democracy. The basic structure doctrine ensures that India remains a democratic nation by preventing any political party from altering the democratic principles enshrined in the constitution. Secondly, it safeguards secularism. The doctrine maintains the secular nature of Indian state, thereby protecting the freedom of individuals to practice and profess any religion of their choice. Thirdly, it preserves federalism. The federal character of Indian constitution is protected by doctrine, which prevents any amendments that would jeopardize the balance of power between the central and the state governments. Fourth point, it upholds fundamental rights. The basic structure doctrine helps to secure citizens' fundamental rights such as right to life, right to equality by preventing Parliament from amending these rights in a manner that would undermine Constitution's basic structure. Fifth point, the basic structure doctrine ensures judicial independence. See, the doctrine plays a crucial role in preserving the independence of judiciary as it prevents any amendment that would compromise the separation of power between three organs. They are the legislature, executive and judiciary. Then BSD prevents authoritarianism. By limiting the power of the parliament to amend the constitution, the basic structure doctrine acts as a safeguard against the rise of authoritarianism. Thereby, it ensures that the government remains accountable to the people. Then final point is that basic structure doctrine promotes constitutional stability. The doctrine contributes to the stability of Indian constitution by ensuring that basic features and principles that are enshrined in the constitution remains consistent and enduring. Now let us see what are the major concerns experts point out on the basic structure doctrine. First is regarding ambiguity. The doctrine lacks a clear definition of basic structure, which can lead to different interpretation and confusions. A recent example is the 2020 debate on CAA, where the question of whether the Citizenship Amendment Act violates the basic structure of constitution remains contentious. Then second point is with respect to judicial overreach. Some experts argue that basic structure doctrine allows the judiciary to exercise excessive control over legislative process. For instance, in the 2019 National Judicial Appointments Commission case, the Supreme Court decided to strike down the NJAC Act and it led to raising concerns. Then third point is the unequal power distribution. Critics contend that the doctrine could disrupt the balance of power between the three branches of government. For example, the 2019 Sabarimala case, where the Supreme Court's verdict allowed women of all ages to enter the temple, led to concerns about the judiciary's disproportionate influence over constitutional matters. Then fourth point is the infringement on parliamentary sovereignty. The BSD has raised concerns about the erosion of parliamentary sovereignty as it limits the parliament's ability to amend the constitution. Then final point is with respect to difficulty in amending the constitution. See, the doctrine might make it more difficult to amend the constitution even when such amendments are necessary to address the changing societal needs. But know that in spite of these concerns, the basic structure doctrine contributes to the stability of constitution by preventing radical changes that could disrupt the nation's political system. And moreover, this stability is important for maintaining public trust in the constitution and to foster a stable political environment. So that is all about the article. So from this article, we saw about the significance as well as the concerns with respect to the basic structure doctrine. From this image, you can see the evolution of basic structure doctrine. You can also quote these cases while writing mains answers. So that is all about the article. Now let us move to our fifth topic. West African Bloc ECOWAS to meet on 𝐒𝐻𝐫𝐢𝐛𝐞 on Thursday. The news is that West African Bloc ECOWAS said that its leaders would meet on Thursday regarding discussions over the crisis in Niger. The ECOWAS summit is to be held in Abuja, which is in Nigeria, whose president will be the current ECOWAS chairman. So from this topic, we will know about ECOWAS. Economic Community of West African States. See, Economic Community of West African States was established in the year 1975 by the Treaty of Lagos. And it is considered as one of the pillars of African Economic Community. Know that ECOWAS is a 15-member regional group with a mandate of promoting economic integration in all fields of activity of the constituting countries. Mostly they will be in the Western African continent. The member countries are Benin, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, Côte d'Ivoire, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Senegal and Togo. So you can use this map and you can identify these countries here. Besides this, we must know that it was set up to foster the ideal of collective self-sufficiency for its member states. And as a trading union, it is also meant to create a single large trading bloc through economic cooperation. So with this, let us close this news articles discussion and move to previous year prelims questions discussion. Coming to the previous year prelims question, let us consider this first question. Which one of the following is likely to be the most inflationary in its effects? Options given are option A, repayment of public debt, option B, borrowing from the public to finance a budget deficit, option C, borrowing from the bank to finance a budget deficit, option D, creating a new money to finance a budget deficit. See, borrowing from public and banks will lead to decrease in the money supply in the market. So, in both the options, money in hand is reduced for the public and even the banks will have lesser money to lend. So, these two options will not lead to inflation. Considering these two options, creation of new money to finance a budget deficit will have more inflationary effect than repayment of debt. So, the correct answer for this question is option D, creation of new money to finance a budget deficit. Now coming to the second question, consider the following statements. First statement, the Parliament of India can place a particular law in the 9th schedule of the Constitution of India. Second statement says, validity of a law placed in the 9th schedule cannot be examined by any court or no judgment can be made on it. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? The options given are option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2, option D neither 1 nor 2. See, the 9th schedule was added to the constitution by the first amendment in the year 1951. This was done with a view to provide protection to land reforms. Okay, so the parliament can place a particular law in the 9th schedule is correct. If you take the second statement, this is wrong because the Supreme Court has said that laws placed in the 9th schedule are open to judicial scrutiny. And the Supreme Court also said that laws which are placed in the 9th schedule do not enjoy a blanket protection. So this statement is wrong. The correct answer for this question is option A, 1 only. With this, let us wind up our discussion here. If you like the method of teaching and if you can understand the concepts well, please give a like, comment, share and subscribe to Forum IAS in various social media platforms. Thank you for watching.